Hello my Jude crew, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Amber Rose, also known as the Religious Hippie. You could basically follow me on any social media platform, or you can go straight to my website at thereligioushippie.com. And on my website are these beautiful stoneware St. Jude prayer mugs in honor of St. Jude, since he is the patron saint of this ministry, and that's why you guys are called the Jude crew, and we have the St. Jude prayer group. So if you'd like one of these mugs, you guys can make a donation and receive one of these mugs. Shipping is included, and every donation, no matter what size, is very helpful in keeping this ministry running, so thank you so much. My tea is cold now and that makes me sad. Okay guys, if you're here, it's because you or someone you love is struggling with pornography, and I want you to know two things up front. Number one, you're not alone, and number two, there is hope. I had this addiction for years, and I know what it feels like to feel stuck, ashamed, and confused, but I also know what it's like to be free of it for almost 5 years now. So I wanted to share with you guys today some things that I wish I would have known when I was in the midst of this struggle and this addiction that I had no clue about. I was one of those people who thought that having a addiction was just a habit. It was kind of normal. It was normalized by my peers and by society. But pornography actually does change your brain. Studies using MRI scans have shown that compulsive users have actual brain activity patterns similar to those addicted to drugs. Dopamine gets released every single time you watch pornography, and your brain starts to rewire itself to crave that hit of dopamine that you get. And then of course there's a spiritual side of it where pornography is a gateway to the enemy. It distorts your view of sexuality, of love, of people, relationships, and this really is a war over your soul and also your sanity. I'm going to be honest. Your sanity is also at play here. Hey guys, before we get too far into the video, editing Amber here, I had to cut out certain parts of this video because it's a little too spicy for YouTube, but you can watch the full ad-free uncensored version on my new Patreon. If you'd like to be a part of my behind the scenes community where you'll get shout outs in future videos, exclusive discounts on merch, private live streams, and more unfiltered content, head to the link in the description. Now, of course, you can give a one-time donation on my website, and I will link that below for you guys as well. I do put in a lot of work in order to keep this ministry running, and the only way I'm able to do it is thanks to my beautiful patrons and all of you guys who have donated to help. I am so thankful for your support, and it truly means more than you'll ever know. If you're unable to donate, I completely understand, but please like and subscribe and ring that notification bell so you'll be notified when new videos go live. Okay, rant over, back to the video. So as somebody who has been now free from this addiction for almost 5 years, going on 6, here are some things I wish I could have told myself when I was in the midst of a addiction, or just things in general I wish I would have known. Number one, and this might seem obvious, but this isn't love. I honestly thought that pornography addiction, masturbation, all of this stuff was quite normal. I was told it was normal by my peers, by movies, TV shows, music. It was just kind of a normal thing that I was constantly exposed to. Lust was just a normal part of being a teenager and normal parts of conversations with my friends and things. I was very desensitized to it. And because I was watching so much media and I was hanging around people constantly who were morally corrupt, I started believing that toxic relationships, and I just did a video about toxic relationships on my channel not too long ago. Go check that video out, how Hollywood likes to glamorize toxic relationships. I started viewing these toxic relationships as healthy. I got an eating disorder from trying to look a certain way, be a certain type of skinny. I was very vain about my appearance. I was very vain about how I looked, how my makeup looked, how my outfit hugged my figure, how, anything and everything made me look more appealing to the male gaze. And at this point, I had very few, if any, good examples of what true love looked like. It wasn't until I came back into my faith and I saw the definition of love hanging on the cross for me. And from there, when I reverted, I started diving into Theology of the Body by St. JP2, and that really helped my healing journey. I also loved to look at the Holy Family as an example of true love and sacrifice, and I also loved looking at saints who were married and using them as an example, and tried to just unwire my brain from what had done to it over the years. And in the past, when I was in my addiction, there was an uneasiness about it. I didn't really know why I felt uneasy about it, since the world was telling me, oh, this is completely normal, like this is how you're supposed to, this is how love is supposed to be, etc. But I had an uneasiness about it. I felt like this doesn't feel like love. This doesn't feel right. Why do I feel so icky about this? But I was just gaslit and lied to by the world and my friends. But I also didn't know anything different. So how was I supposed to know? And I guess the same thing could be said for my peers. So when I actually learned about true love, willing the good of another, sacrificing for each other, all of that really resonated with me. And I felt like, yes, this is right. This is true. This is exactly what I've been hungry for. And I found peace in that. I found solace in that. But it still pains me till this day to see all these young people. And I mean, I'm a young person too. I'm not old, but it pains to see teenagers, I should say, and younger kids fall for the same lies that I did, because society now has a gateway into that child's life through their phone. And unfortunately, too many parents allow their children to have phones way too early, and it's extremely detrimental to that child's development. The second thing I wish I would have known is that you are not responsible for what happened to you, but you are responsible for how you react to it now. I lost control so many times. I spiraled into depression, I had panic attacks, I committed self-harm, I felt empty, dirty, worthless, isolated, and just a ton of other things that were just so horrible. I was also very young. I didn't know why I had such turbulent emotions and feelings, and also why I was so angry yet numb at the same time. When I was around other people, I could easily slip on a mask. I could easily just like be a clapping seal performing in front of people like everything's fine. Multiple people from my past came back to me a couple months ago and told me like, we had no idea that this is what you were going through in high school. We just assumed that everything was fine and you were just going through a phase, or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it's like, yeah, you know, I was a very, very private person. I didn't say anything because I didn't trust anybody. I didn't tell them that specifically, but I'm telling you guys that. It's like, I could hide it very well. And I recognized that no, I wasn't responsible for what happened to me. I was not responsible for that boy coming to me, grooming me, etc. I was innocent. I had no idea any of this stuff even existed. I was groomed. I was the victim. However, when I came back into my faith when I was about 19, God really opened my eyes and made me realize, while yes, I was a victim at that time, I am now continuing to make myself the victim. I was abused. So why do I continue abusing and torturing myself when I deserve healing and love and forgiveness? It was truly like a veil had been lifted from my eyes, and I could see how my actions were the reactions of something horrible happening to me, but that I was in control and I had God with me to give me strength to overcome these vices and to stop abusing myself. I didn't have to keep hurting myself. I went to confession. I owned up to my mistakes, and I realized as a daughter of God, I deserve better. Not in a prideful way where I'm like, yeah, I obviously deserve better, but in an understanding way. Like, no, I understand I am created in the image and likeness of God. I deserve better. God created us. How sad does it make him when we hurt ourselves or damage our souls that he meticulously and lovingly knit together in our mother's womb? Now, my problems weren't solved overnight. I still struggled with many problems, pornography, self-harm, eating disorders, etc. But I finally realized the damage I was causing to my body and my soul, and I wanted to stop because I knew God loved me and I should see myself the way that God sees me, and that is as a beloved child. And now a quick word from our sponsor, House of Japa. In today's world, I feel like we often forget about the sacred, but at House of Japa, they help you remember. Whether it's their beautiful handcrafted rosaries, a minimalist crucifix, or a Marian necklace that speaks to your heart, every piece is designed to reflect the beauty of our Catholic faith in a way that feels fresh and timeless. This is a way for us to live our faith boldly, to live it loudly, to live it beautifully and intentionally. So decorate your home, your prayer space, your bedroom, whatever it might be, with artwork, a crucifix, candles, etc. that actually mean something. Your environment should reflect your faith. You can check them out at their website, houseofjapa.com. That's houseofjoppa.com. There's something for everyone, and you will not be disappointed in their quality. All right, with that being said, let's get back to the video. Okay, the third thing that I wish I would have known or would have done is ask for help. Like I said, I was very, very scared. I was afraid that I would be blamed, that I would be viewed as the bad guy. I didn't think people would understand. And worst of all, I thought that if I told anybody, it would lead to more rumors being spread about me that I had already been battling at that time. So due to this fear, I kept silent. I isolated myself. I deeply struggled with shame, and I truly felt like I had nowhere to turn. Nobody would listen to me, or I thought if they might listen to me, I would get in trouble. There was nobody that I could go to physically. Obviously, God was always there, but I didn't really think about that. But there was nobody physically I felt like I could go to who was safe enough to talk to. So the first person I told was a Catholic priest when I reverted back to Catholicism. Looking back on those situations, I can think of 2 or 3 adults in my life who I probably could have talk to, but Satan likes to isolate us. Satan likes to keep us fearful. He likes to shame us and keep us in that shame so that we never find repentance or the healing we deserve. And unfortunately, I fell for it. But my first confession coming back into the faith was pretty rough. I remember my knees just knocking together. I was so nervous. I knew I still had an addiction, and I wondered if it was even worth going to confession because I had an addiction, and I knew I would probably slip up again, though I didn't want to. But I did my confession, and the priest had some really great advice, and he really helped me understand that confession was the first step in beating this addiction. Having the humility to go to confession, to lay out all of the sins that I committed over the last 8 years and get it off my chest and lay it before God. He said that was the first step, and it was very difficult. I'm not going to sugarcoat it and tell you guys, oh yeah, it was so easy to just lay everything out there that I had done in 8 years for, the priest who's in persona Christi. But ultimately, it was the most healing part of the process. And nothing changes overnight. It takes time, dedication, grace, but I felt so much lighter, and I think that was the point that truly marked my journey of healing from my pornography addiction. And number 4, what I would tell myself is you're broken, and that's okay, but you can't stay broken. In high school, everything was about me. I turned everything into a pity party, boo-hoo me. I was always the victim because I viewed myself as the victim. But at some point, you become the victim of yourself. We can recognize our brokenness and we can feel the emotions that go along with that, but we cannot use it as an excuse to hurt others, become bitter, sin, etc. We have to take on responsibility and continue on the narrow path as best as we can. And while we might slip up, we might get discouraged, we might feel like giving up, the saints did too. Look at any of their stories. The difference is that they kept getting up when they got knocked down. They never gave up. They never stopped pursuing God or pursuing the narrow path. And that's what we're all called to do. And God gives you the strength to do this through Him. So lean on Him. The 5th and the last thing I wish I would have known or could have told myself is that you'll never have a healthy relationship if you view people as objects to use. In high school, I would be in and out of relationships constantly. I picked guys who genuinely weren't right for me or just straight up a bad person. And I would do that because I liked the way they made me look or I liked the attention they gave me. And in true Ariana Grande fashion, I liked it if guys picked me over a different girl. So if there was a girl who liked that guy specifically, not that I would necessarily pursue them, but they would sometimes pursue me, and I knew that that girl liked that guy, and sometimes I used that as like a power move. I am not condoning this at all, okay? I was in high school, I was young, naive, I was very vain and very narcissistic, but I am just trying to be honest with you guys of how I was. And if you guys are in the same boat or you guys know somebody like this, just trying to give you guys some solace, some comfort that things do get better, but it does take a lot of work and it does take a lot of effort. I was there. And I can speak from experience. I was an absolute mess in high school, but I liked the validation and the power that I had in high school, or I felt like I had. Whenever I got any guy I wanted, or a guy liked me and I played hard to get, I was the worst in a lot of ways. But that was because I only cared about how they made me feel, how they made me look. I was specifically looking at them for a means to an end. How are they going to benefit me? How do they make me look? What are they going to give me? Me. Very narcissistic. And I didn't realize how bad it was at the time until I turned about 17, 18, 19, and I realized I could not connect with people. I couldn't make friendships. I couldn't go deeper with them. No matter how hard I tried or wanted to, I had walls up, and a force of habit, I basically became somebody who couldn't be deep. I was a very shallow person, and I noticed that, and it scared me. So I actually started healing from this before I reverted back to Catholicism, but Catholicism really gave me a foundation for my healing, as opposed to me just kind of grasping at air and trying to figure out what I should do and trying all these self-help books and all of these self-care methods and everything. Instead, it actually gave me tools and it gave me solutions. Were they easy? No, of course not. But they worked. I had to detox my brain from what I was feeding it for over 8 years at this point. And this, I want to be honest with you guys, this took a lot of time. Okay? I'm not saying like, oh, you'll be over it in a week. It might take a year. It could take a year. But when it came to my relationships, I constantly had to check myself when I was in a conversation with somebody and I started objectifying them, judging them, or doing something out of habit. I was like, nope, we're not doing that. I started forcing myself to be deeper and more vulnerable with people, which was very, very hard. It felt very uncomfortable to me. And I started giving people the benefit of the doubt and trying to be as nice as possible to people. Not fake nice, but genuine, trying to practice charity, trying to practice kindness. But it was, honestly, it was just so difficult though, because every relationship that I had in high school, whether that was a relationship or a friendship, was toxic. Outside of 2 friends who I still currently have, but out of 50 or more people that I knew in high school, only 2 stuck by me. And honestly, I was surprised that they did. I still commend them for sticking it out with me and recognizing I was going through a difficult time, even though they didn't exactly know what was going on. But I only made it out with 2 people, and it was only because they had the patience and the hope to persevere with me through all of these difficult times. And I am forever grateful for them for never giving up on me and always seeing the good in me and trying to walk me through things and point me towards Christ, whether I knew it or not. And yeah, they're just amazing people. So these are some things that I wish I would have known. I would love to hear what you guys wish you would have known in an addiction, whether that is porn or a different type of addiction, or if you're going through something right now, please know of our prayers for you and know that God is reaching out to you with his mercy. He is calling you back to him, so go home and find out what true healing actually feels like. It's not just a band-aid, might I add. I also want to link some resources in the description below for anyone who might need them. I know that these were very beneficial for me, and I know that they're very beneficial for other people who are in the midst of this struggle, so definitely go check them out. And with all of that being said, guys, that's all I have for today's video. I hope this helped you. Please know I'm praying for you. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.